Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video I'm going to talk about the violin hold. Let me start this off with saying that the violin hold is a little bit individual, but there are some general rules and good principles that can apply to a certain extent for everybody. In this video I'm not going to talk about shoulder rest or not, I'm just going to talk about the general setup. You should be able to hold your violin with your head and your shoulder in the way I show you right now. If that's not possible, or you have an insecure feeling, or you have to hold the violin very much with the left hand, then you have to think about your setup regarding the shoulder rest, or a sponge under your cloth, or also the chin rest. Those are all relevant for a good violin hold. But these things are very individual, and I'm not going to tell you now that you should use a shoulder rest, or that you should use a shoulder rest of a certain kind. But I'm going to tell you that 90% of the people that I know and also my students use the Kuhn shoulder rest. And I am in no way an ambassador of Kuhn. As you can see, this one was of very low quality, but the form of the Kuhn shoulder rest is very subtle and they are very light as well. Also, they are not too high. So I would say 90% of the violinists would be okay with using a Kuhn shoulder rest. 8% of the violinists could use a sponge or some kind of padding under your clothes or attached to your violin. And the last 5% are those who really don't use a shoulder rest at all. And also they say that playing a musical instrument improves your mathematical skills.
Okay.
We want to hold our violin on the left side of our head, supporting a little bit with the shoulder, the collarbone, or both. In general, we want to hold our violin in an approximately 45-degree angle. To prepare the violin hold, I will give you this exercise, which I do with all my students. We put our right hand here at the button, and our left hand, we hold our violin right here or at the neck. And now we go high above our head, and then we fly from on top of the shoulder and land on the left side on the shoulder. And we want to feel our shoulder rest here at the collarbone, and we want the button to touch our neck very slightly. From this position, we turn our head towards the chin rest and nod it slightly down so that the weight of our head holds the violin in place. Also, what we want to keep in mind is to hold our breastbone up, because that not only gives us a better plateau to rest on, but also decreases the length of our neck. So we fly above our head, we land on the left side on our shoulder, not in the middle. We land on the left side on the shoulder, the button pointing to our neck, not here in the middle, but really on our shoulder. And then we turn our head 45 degrees or a little bit less to our violin and let the weight of the head carry the violin. Now you should be able, with a slight support of the shoulder, to hold your violin in this exact position. If everything is set up right, that should be the case. Now we are free to move our left hand. In an optimal case, we want to hold our violin mainly with the thumb and the playing finger, because later when we play vibrato, we have to loosen this contact right here. I suggest to you, when you start playing the violin, to not grip too firmly here with the ground joint of the index finger, but support the violin more with the thumb than with the ground joint of the index finger. So what I want you to do now is take your thumb and slightly touch your index finger. That place where the tip of your thumb touches your index finger, that will be the place where our index finger touches the violin neck. On the opposite side, our thumb goes on the neck with a soft pad here, and in a relaxed position on the other side of the first or second finger, which is our index or middle finger. Our forearm and wrist should be in one line. We don't want to hold our violin with the pad of the hand. We want to really be flexible to move up and down the fingerboard. You can do that also with supporting your violin with your free right hand right now and slide along the neck in the correct hold. And try to keep in mind to not move your wrist in like that. That can be very tempting. So your wrist and your forearm are in one line. The elbow should hang in a relaxed neutral position under the violin. The position of the elbow is in the end a flexible one. When we play on the G string, our elbow has to be a little bit more on the inside. When we play on the E string, so on the higher string, the elbow can be a little bit on the outside to support our fingers to fall naturally on the strings. In the beginning, you will learn to play in the first position. For that, I would suggest to you to go with your first joint of your index finger to the nut of the violin, which is here at the end of the fingerboard. And from there, place your first finger in a round position, and now you are basically in the first position. But we will talk later about the position of all fingers in the first position. So let's do this one more time together. We go with our violin above our head, then we land our violin on the side of the head with the button pointing to our neck. Then we turn our head slightly to the chin rest and let it rest with its weight on the violin. And then we support a little bit with the shoulder, and keeping in mind that our breastbone is up and stays up. And then we touch our index finger with our thumb, and on that place we then touch the violin neck, and with the thumb with the soft pad on the other side. Then we can hold our violin right here and make sure that our wrist is straight in doing this exercise, keeping in mind that our wrist and our forearm are in one line. We can also remind us to keep our wrist in a correct position by slightly touching it right here in our preparation process. So we would want to have a good hold at the head so that our left hand can move quite freely. If we have to support our violin a little bit with the left hand, we want to support it more with the thumb and the playing finger rather than with the ground joint of the index finger. Because later when we want to play vibrato or shifting in higher positions, we anyways have to loosen the contact right here. So it's better to not in the first place get accustomed to that contact and holding the violin like that. So that was the violin hold as I teach it for you, and see you guys in the next video where we will talk about the bow hold.